All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to Wake Up American, the Daily American English Pronunciation Show, where we help you just to get a little bit of pronunciation practice in because the key to pronunciation is studying just a little bit every single day. We love it when you use that time to study a little bit with us. My name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath. It's one of the four key ingredients to a natural sound in American English, in addition to placement and pitch, and trying to weaken your consonant sounds. And we're actually going to be talking about one of these key concepts, which is placement. It's something that we reference a lot. We have tons and tons of videos on it. Talk about for pronunciation a lot. In fact, if you want to study it even more, we have a little series that is dedicated to placement, which you can find in the chat, which I just posted. I also see that Shok is in the house. Hello to Shok. But what is placement? What are the things that you need to consider when you're doing it? How can you use it to sound more natural? And placement is one of those things that, to me, if you ever feel like you have like actually pretty good mouth position, you feel like you're doing things right with your lips and your tongue, but you're like, man, I still feel like I have an accent, but I don't know why. One of the reasons could definitely be that you're just projecting from a different spot. And before we even like get into explaining what it is, I kind of just want to show you. And let's take a look at, for instance, your first language. I need your first language for this. I need you to pronounce an E sound in your first language. I need you to hold it for like maybe 2-3 seconds. Okay. Most likely it's going to sound something like E, 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 like something like that. E, 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 like something like that. E, E, E. And what you may notice if you hold that for a couple seconds, like E, you may feel like you actually start to get like some vibration, maybe like in your cheek area, maybe your teeth or your jaw, your skull, your head kind of shakes a little bit. So that's a sign that you are using a high placement. You're projecting sound from up here. And some people are like, no, I definitely feel it here. This is not the same thing as your vocal cords. Your vocal cords are here. They're not going to be moving up into your head. Um, and so that's not the vibration we're talking about. We're really talking about where you actually projecting the sound from. And if that's still not clear, what you can try doing is try taking that E sound and going down 5 times. I'll give you an example. It's like E, 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 E. Can you hear that difference there? So again, E, 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 E. So again, you can hear that first one, E, is pretty different in sound quality than that last one, right? E, E, E. And this is the same vowel sound, but it's projected from a different spot. And this might be different than what you expect. You might be like, oh, but Jeff, this feels like a completely different sound. The reason it sounds so different is because it's coming from a different spot. And so every single language has its own place where it's projecting sound from. And so when you're studying a new language, not just English, but any language, when you're studying any language, the very first thing I would tell you to do before you study vocab, before you study grammar, before you try to talk, try to figure out where is the sound just being projected from. Because if you can unlock that from the beginning, it can make your pronunciation journey much easier and faster. If you can get used to, for instance, in American English, using a lower placement, American English is consistently in this spot. There are times where it goes higher, but overall, we're always going to be projecting from these lower positions. So I think it's going to be immensely helpful for you. Try to find out where is the language you're learning projecting from. The other thing that I do want to say is that as we do these exercises, keep in mind placement is one very important step, but it is not the only important step. So if you do not have the right amount of breath and airflow, then what's going to happen is even if your placement's good, you might end up talking like this, where like you're low placement, but just not a lot of air is coming through. So it's important to continue using your diaphragm and getting enough air through and things like that. Placement by itself isn't going to solve all of the problems. So I want to just do a couple quick exercises with you to show you how you can practice your placement. These are exercises, by the way, that I do very similar types of things in our pronunciation group on Telegram. So if you don't know, on Telegram, we have a pronunciation group that members subscribe to. Every day I post a challenge, a group of words or phrases or sounds to say. I send in audio of myself saying them, and then the members can send in audio of themselves saying it, and they get feedback, because maybe you have the experience of, talking, maybe even talk to native speakers, but they just don't help you know what sounds right, what sounds weird or unnatural. They're just not be able to give you the feedback, or maybe you don't have anyone to talk to in general. This is what the group is for, is to give you that couple minutes of pronunciation practice and guidance. Because let's be honest, this live stream, I'm going to show you some very valuable exercises, but I can't hear you, so I don't know if you're doing it right. So that's why our pronunciation group on Telegram is so helpful, because you get feedback from me. Currently, we have 8 openings left that you guys can take. If that sounds like something you're interested in, you can go to fluentamerican.com. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But let's practice again some more placement exercises. Let's do that E sound again. So we're going to start off with that higher placement E. Maybe it's more similar to your first language, and then we're going to send it down 5 times. E, 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 E. Okay? If that's difficult for you, you can also try dragging the sound. It's like E. Again, E. Okay. Then let's try dragging it and then repeating the final sound. It's like E. E, E, E. Again, E, 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 E. So if we have an example word, let's use the word deep. So this is how you can practice placement with a word. Start off again with just the sound. It's like E. Let's try to just use the low placement, like E. If you feel like you're doing E, see if you can get that down more. E. Then once you feel like you have the vowel okay, add a consonant. And consonants are very tricky, because what consonants want to do is they want to send your placement higher, because low placement isn't just for vowel sounds in American English, it's also for consonant sounds. And you're probably very used to pronouncing your consonant sounds with a higher placement. So just be very careful. So for instance, this D sound, instead of D, like D, American English, we want more like a D. Here are difference between D and D. We want that lower one. So can you do like E, D, E, D, E, D? If you find that you're doing like E, D, do you hear how the placement just jumped up higher? E, D versus E, D, E, D. Ideally, everything's saying the same spot. Ideally, your E sound is the same, whether you put the D before it or after it. So like E, D, E, D, E, D, E, D. You hear that? Just that, that low vibration. That's our goal. We're trying to get that. Okay, American English likes that warmth and that richness and that resonance. Okay. If that feels okay, then what you can do is add the P sound. So E, D, D, B, D, D, B, D, D, B, D, D. What some students find is they can do E. What some students find is they can do E, D. But then what some students also find is that they do E, D, deep, E, D, deep versus E, D, deep. You hear that difference there. So trying to make sure the placement is staying down the entire time. E, D, deep, E, D, deep, E, D, deep. Okay. In addition to that, so we've seen placement work with individual sounds. We've seen placement work with words. Placement is also going to impact entire sentences. So let's add a little bit to this. What sentence are we going to do? Let's try this. A moment, and we will take a look at this sentence here. So our goal is to say this whole sentence with a low placement. He's in a deep sleep. He's in a deep sleep. Okay. Let's do the very first placement exercise that we did, where we sent things down 5 times. So we're going to start high. He's in a deep sleep. 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 You can hear how each of those is different. Okay. In general, what I see with a lot of students, if they do that sort of exercise, moving it down 5 times, the sweet spot tends to be right around number 3. number 3 or number 4. It depends on the student. Usually number 3 or number 4 is pretty good though. Numbers 1 and 2 are too high. Number 5 is too low. It gets a little strange. 3 or 4 tends to be the spot that works best. Okay. So again, he's in a deep sleep. He's in a deep sleep. He's in a deep sleep. That's another way you can also practice this too. Repeat the sentence like 5 times, 3, 4, 5 times. Try to do it in a single breath. Just keep rolling. He's in a deep sleep. 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 Just doing that sort of exercise. If you're not used to placement, one of my initial goals for you would be to try to find one sound that you feel comfortable getting the placement more or less right on. Okay. It might not be the E sound. Maybe it's going to be the ah sound. So like ah. Okay. You can hear that lower ah sound. It's like ah. Or maybe it's the sound, like the schwa. It's like uh. So maybe it's a schwa. Maybe it's going to be the oo sounds, like ooh, or like ooh. Our goal, whatever sound it is, we want to have kind of our one sound that we can use as our benchmark and as our way to kind of regulate ourselves. Because if I have one sound that I feel confident in, but another sound I feel less confident in, we can use that for our advantage. So for instance, if I feel confident with an E sound, but I have trouble getting the placement right with the oo, I can use my E to my advantage. So like E, but maybe I can do a low placement like E. But maybe for my oo sound, I go back to something closer to my first language, like ooh, like E, ooh, E, ooh. You can hear the placement jump, right? E, ooh. But I need the placement to be the same. So let's try holding it longer. It's like E, ooh. Oh, I can hear it sliding up. Did you hear that? E, ooh. Now I'm up here. Okay, so let me try again. Let me try to keep that placement lower, like the E. It's like oh, it feels weird. Let me try again. Okay, now I'm projecting from the same spot. So now I'm no longer saying ew. I'm saying ew. So you can do this with any sound that you feel comfortable with. Start off with it and then try to alternate. You can go slow to try to catch the moment. When does your placement rise? You also want to watch out for this as well. Very similar idea. When you have a word with a consonant that wants to shift your placement higher. We see this a lot with the letter N, the letter L, the letter B and P. These are consonants that, if you're not careful, will send your placement higher. So for instance, if I have the word, one moment. So if I have this word seen, let's just try to say that real slow. Seen. Oh, wow. Did you hear that placement go up on the N? Like seen. But I want to try to keep that placement down. So I'm going to go a little slower. Seen. So it's not seen, it's seen. Hear that difference there? Trying to keep that placement lower. What some people do too is they may add vowel sounds, like seen becomes like seeing. And again, so we can, if you slow it down, you can kind of detect where is the problem area, and then you can target that to try to smooth it out more. So it's not seeing, it's seen, and things like that. It's just another little exercise you can do. Guys, I mentioned that if you're interested in trying to actually get feedback, so we're doing some very valuable exercises here, but you may not know if you're doing them right. That's where our pronunciation group comes in, because you can send in your own audio file, you respond to challenges, you can ask questions, and get feedback from me and my assistant teacher, Lenora. We've both been teaching since like 2010 and focusing on pronunciation recently. So we would love to help you with that. If this sounds like something interesting to you, or you want to just get more practice with placement, in addition to breath and pitch, and trying to weaken your consonant sounds, we have a very special offer that I think you're going to like. It's called our 4-Step American Accent Program, and it's completely free. It's a free video course. Find out information on how to get it here.
Visit fluentamerican.com for all of our pronunciation services, including memberships, including our daily Telegram program, where you send in files every day and get corrections from us. Mission English, where we meet twice a day in live stream classes, and also our paid video courses so you can start learning right away.
Things you can find directly on fluentamerican.com right on the homepage. Okay, but note again, our Telegram group is currently $12 for the month, and we have 8 spots left at that price point. Okay, so make sure you claim yours if you are interested. If you have other questions about placement, again, I posted a link to a video series that we have that goes through lots more placement exercises, or you can also leave them in the comments so we can address them in a future video. Once more, my name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath, one of the keys to a natural sound in American English pronunciation. Thank you for your time. We will see you tomorrow at the same time. Next episode of Wake Up American. You guys take care. Have a good day. Have a good night.